Hi, welcome back to the Sing Confidently Live Creatively podcast. Estelle here. Today, I'm going through five very simple tips that you can start to take action on to help you hit high notes with more confidence. Especially, this is beginner friendly. So let's get into it. Before I do get into it, reminder that if you need help with any of these things, I have voice lesson slots that are open. You can grab a virtual voice lesson with me through my studio, Creatively Performing Arts. It's an online voice studio, and I'd love to work with you. If you want to work on a specific high note in a song that you are having trouble with, or maybe you really need to just work on expanding your range and you need to do that with someone helping you, guiding you through exercises, some of which I'm going to talk a little bit about that more today. But if you need that practical support and help, taking a voice lesson is a really helpful way for you to find that support and to get that help on the specific needs that you have for your unique voice. So you can go to creativelybyestelle.com/studio and see what lesson slots are available for you. If there are any that are open for you that are working for your schedule, you can email me and I'll see if I can work something out, or maybe we can push it out to the next month. But just make sure that you grab a lesson slot as soon as you're able to. That way we can work on these things practically and get you to that other side of singing these high notes so that you can sing them with confidence, with freedom, all of that stuff. So here are my 5 tips. I want you to take notes. Honestly, get your paper and pen out for sure. Start taking notes because you're going to want to keep these beside you when you do your next voice practice. Next time you go to practice your song, you're going to want to make sure that you are getting to each of these steps and at least maybe starting with one of these to help you the next time that you're working on a high note. Okay. All right. Here are the 5 steps. Number 1, warm up your voice higher than where you're going to sing. So if you're working on a specific song with a specific high note that you know is coming up. I've done this before. I'm literally laughing because I worked on a song today that was like that. So you want to warm up your voice as high as that note is and even higher, a little bit higher. So you can do this going up and down the scale on like a lip trill or a hum. Um, that's an SOVT, a semi-occluded vocal tract exercise. And these exercises help you adjust the pressure on your vocal folds. So it's a little bit less pressure. And it allows you to get some clean closure on your vocal folds so that they can close really nicely as you stretch higher, as your voice, gets higher and higher, and they're stretching out, right? Your vocal folds are stretching out as you get higher. So you want to be able to warm up your voice a little bit higher than where you're going to be singing. So that way you can kind of get used to getting that high. And it's also kind of like a little mind trick your brain to think that like, oh, I can go that high. So I can hit this other note that's not even as high as that is. So see if you can warm up your voice higher than the note that you're going to be singing in the song. Okay. Again, you can grab a lesson with me if you don't know what warm ups to do. And I also have a bunch of warm up episodes. If you scroll back on this podcast, you'll see different vocal warm ups that I have for you guys. Okay. The second tip is try range extension technique exercises. So these are exercises that are helping you intentionally expand your range. So doing vocal warm ups that take you more than just like 5 notes, but all the way through an octave, which is 8 notes in a row, and even an octave and a half, right? So even more than an octave, stretching your vocal folds and then coming back down that octave or that octave and a half scale, that is then contracting them again. So you're practicing that stretching and then coming back down to the lower notes, stretching higher and then coming back down to the lower notes. So doing those exercises that are stretching your range and then coming back down is a great next step for you. If you are really wanting to get to those high notes, you got to start working on expanding your range a little bit. And I take you through specific exercises that are range extension exercises in vocal warm-ups. I do that generally from the first lesson, depending on where you are vocally, because I think we're already starting to want to make sure that we're getting your range nice and expanded. We're singing through all your different registers from day one. So in lessons, we'll go through that as well. But if you can just sing through your octave, right? Sing through more than an octave as you're doing your warm up, that's a great place to start. So that can just be like la 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 la. Wait, no. La 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 la. But maybe on, I would do more of a thaw. Thaw. My original sound is not on. Hold on. Thaw is something like that, right? You're opening up and you're expanding up and then back down, right? Something like that. And that was an octave. You can go even higher than that. You can do an octave and a half. All right. The third tip that I have for you is to sing on staccato in your head voice. Staccato means short and disconnected notes. So you're just singing quick notes, specifically in your head voice, which is your higher register for women. That's our upper register. And that's where you have like a little bit more airflow up there. But with the staccato, you get a nice clean onset with the right amount of airflow and air pressure so that it helps you quickly hit those notes, those higher notes, so that when you go to do that high note in the song, you've already taught your voice how to get to those notes, have a clean onset, have the right amount of air pressure and airflow and air pressure on those notes. So that's the staccato, and that's when we do like the ha 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 or something like that. I do different ones, different variations of that in my voice lessons. Okay, number 4 is to do these exercise going even higher than the highest note in the song you're singing. So this is kind of like what I did in the first step, which is warm up your voice. And I said, warm up your voice higher. So similarly to that, these exercises that I just talked about, the range extension exercises, staccato exercises in head voice, see if you can take those up even higher than the highest note in the song that you're singing, right? So see if you can get up into your head voice and maybe even beyond into whistle register. If your highest note is like kind of on the edge of your head voice, you might need to go even a little bit higher if you can. We can work this out in a lesson so you don't hurt yourself. You know, if you start to feel discomfort, come back down, right? Come back down. Ease yourself down, do some hums, do some light vocal trills, something like that to kind of ease your voice back down to neutral. But then, when you're ready, see if you can start to stretch again and go up a little bit higher. But make sure that you're paying attention to what your voice and your body needs, and come grab a lesson so that you can have a coach kind of watch you and hear you and help you out with, releasing that tension up there so that you're not getting stuck. Okay. But trying to go do those exercises a little bit higher than the highest note in the song is going to be really helpful for you. And then last but not least, the 5th tip is to start working on the song with the high note and try the high note on different vowels. So try the high note on different vowels. So you have different vowels are going to help you to get to a different sound with high notes especially. But with all notes actually, different vowels can help you to produce a different timbre, a different kind of tone, right? If you want a brighter tone or a beltier sound, you can brighten the vowel by maybe adding like a wider vowel, widening the top of your mouth, right? Almost like adding a little smile, do like a little smile, and you're widening the vowel. That can get you a brighter sound. If you want a darker sound or you want a more hooty sound, like oh, a little bit more back in the throat, then or even like a more falsetto sound, you might narrow the vowel, make it a little bit more narrow. So it just depends on where you are in your voice. And so you want to just play around with different vowels on that specific note. So don't just sing it on the words. Try it with like a la, try it with a me or a ma. Actually, not me, because if you're going that high, you might want more of an open vowel. Maybe a may, a me. Depends on if you want. Okay. It depends on what kind of sound you want on that note. But if you want like a brighter sound, you might want to do a may. If you want more of a more falsetto sound or like head voice sound, that you might want to do like a ma, right? Ma with a nice narrow vowel and a relaxed jaw. So different vowels, you can play around with them, but you gotta try that out while you're practicing. So let's review these 5 tips one more time in order to help you hit those high notes with more confidence. Number 1, warm up your voice, and you can warm it up higher than the note that you're gonna sing. Number 2, range extension technique exercises. These are singing exercises that go maybe an octave and a half, longer intervals, right? Higher jumps, higher intervals, so that you're really singing throughout different registers in your voice. Number 3, sing on staccato in your head voice. Do short disconnected notes in your head voice. Keep them light, keep them quick. Number 4, do all of these different exercises higher than the highest note in your song. So the range extension exercises, the staccato exercise, do them higher than the note in your song that you are working on. And number 5, start working on the song with the high note, right? Trying out different vowels. Try the high note on different vowels and see which vowel you prefer. Try it out on different vowels. Then you can bring that kind of vowel sound into the actual word and see if you can configure it, see if you can stay in that same placement of that vowel, but in the actual word. And so these are 5 super simple tips that are going to help you hit those high notes with confidence. I don't know if, now that I'm thinking about them, are they simple? They're simple to say, they're simple to think about, but you have to really start with one and go from there. So I would say start with one of these and then go from there. So start with, maybe you want to warm up your voice a little bit higher than the note that you're singing today, and just do that. Then maybe next week, you're going to try to add in some range extension exercises. Then the week after, sing on staccato in your head voice. Then the week after, make sure that you go back and do those exercises even higher than the highest note that you're working on. And then maybe the next week you start working on that song specifically and see if you can try it out with different vowels. So that's just an idea, but I would say take one of these that you wrote down, take one of these tips and apply it and see if it helps you. See if it helps you. If you need help of any kind with any of these, come grab a lesson with me. I'd love to walk you through these. But I really, truly believe that you can do these. You can try one of these and you will see that it helps you a little bit with getting to that high note with ease so that you can feel more confident, okay? Again, come to creativelybyestelle.com/studio if you'd like to work with me, and I'd love to help you out with this even more. Other than that, I hope this helps you. Let me know. I hope it wasn't too overwhelming. But again, just choose one thing and start with that and see if that helps you, okay? All right, I will see you guys in the next episode. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode and to this show. I'm so in awe of you for being here and showing up for your creative gifts. That takes courage. Don't forget to join the Performing Arts community on Facebook for support and inspiration as you continue on your journey. If this episode helped or inspired you in any way, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and share it with someone. It means so much. Thank you again, and don't forget to keep singing, acting, dancing, performing, and living creatively. Talk to you next time.